Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video we're going to be putting together some beautiful simmer pot gifts for my neighbors and friends. If you aren't sure what a simmer pot is, we're going to go ahead and create one now. This is designed to make your home feel and smell cozy like Christmas, and it does exactly that. Now there are a lot of different flavors that you can make for your simmer pot, but today we are going Christmas traditional with oranges, cranberries, cinnamon sticks, vanilla, and a little bit of rosemary. What you do is just put all of these ingredients into a pot, you turn them on with some water, and you let them simmer, and it makes your entire home smell fantastic. I have this beautiful clear simmer pot from Amazon. I'll link it down below for you, and this allows you to see what's inside as well, which just adds to the coziness. We're going to be putting together some bags with these ingredients that I'll be dropping off to my neighbors as well as bringing to my friends at work so that they too can have their homes smelling delicious and cozy for Christmas. For our bags today, we're going to be drying out some oranges. So I'm starting off by turning on my oven to 200 degrees. If you have a dehydrator, you could use that as well. I do not own a dehydrator, so I'm using my oven. I'm also going to sharpen my knife here. It needed a good sharpen. That is also from Amazon. I can link that for you down below as well. And my knife there is a Wüsthof 6-inch chef's knife, and I've talked about that before. It's my favorite kitchen tool. I'm using navel oranges today, and if you have a hard time finding navel oranges, but you can find a different type of orange, that works too. These, however, are what I'm using today. So I'm just going to slice these into about 1/4 of an inch thick slices. I'm going ahead and putting the ends into a trash bin, and then we're going to lay them out flat on an ungreased cookie sheet. So that's what I'm doing here. You want them to be lying flat. You don't want them to be on top of each other at all. And just keep cutting your oranges until you fill your cookie sheet with the orange slices. Fun fact, this piece of fruit that I'm cutting now is actually a grapefruit. I'm not sure how it ended up in my oranges, but I was good with it. Just added a delicious flavor and smell to my simmer pot. Once you have your oranges laid out on your cookie sheet, go ahead and grab a napkin or a paper towel, and you're going to pat your pieces dry. Now, this is just going to help remove some of the extra juice in your slices here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to wring them out, but You'll want to flip them over and do this again to the other side just to remove as much excess juice as you can. This will just help your oranges dry out a little bit smoother, and it'll make them perfectly dried when you're done. Once you're done patting all of your slices dry, they'll be ready to pop into the oven. You're going to bake your orange slices at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 hours, making sure to flip them over halfway through. While those are baking, I'm going to go ahead and cut up our little tags for our simmer pot bags. I did purchase these on Etsy. I talk about Etsy a lot. I find most of the things I'm looking for these types of things on Etsy. I've used Etsy for years. In fact, I used to be an Etsy seller. So I always go to Etsy first when I'm looking for something like this. Now, if you're super good with Canva or Cordial, you could do this yourself, of course. PicMonkey. You could totally make your own tag. However, I love to give my business to other moms or creators. I remember how excited I used to get every time I would get the little dollar sound or the money sound on my phone. So I will have these linked for you down below. They were really affordable, and I just printed them on white cardstock, and then I am cutting them out. I love how it says it's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas, and then it talks to you about adding the water and the splash of vanilla. Now, there are other recipes for a simmer pot that include cloves and things like that. I don't love that smell, so I keep mine super simple, but you could always add whatever you like to yours. We're going to also hole punch one hole at the top of the tag so that we can tie them on. At this point, it was halfway through, so I'm just going to flip over our orange slices so that they can bake for another hour on the other side. You can see that they are looking absolutely gorgeous. They are drying perfectly, and my whole house smelt so good. Between these oranges in the oven and the simmer pot going, my house just smelled incredible. While those are finishing up, we're going to go ahead and start to assemble our bags. I did pick up these cute little gift bags from Michael's. They say Merry Christmas. The reason I got these instead of just plain bags was because these were 60% off and the plain bags were not. So I was able to get these for around $1, which was perfect. I didn't want to spend more than that, and they had 50 bags inside. So I thought they were perfect. Maybe not 50, maybe it was 25. So I'm starting off with cranberries, putting in about 2 handfuls of cranberries. I added in 2 to 3 cinnamon sticks, depending on the size. And then I'm also adding in 2 to 3 sprigs of rosemary. Now that's fresh rosemary there. And then I just repeated this until I had a few bags made, about 4 or 5. And then what I decided to do was to make a few with uncut, undried oranges. These I thought would be good if people weren't ready to use them right away. There's just 2 different ways to do it. You could dry them if you have the time. If you don't, if you want to get this gift done and to your neighbors or friends right away, and you don't have time to cut and dry out your oranges, this is a perfect way of doing it. You can just add in the unsliced orange. It looks just as beautiful, and your friends can slice up the orange when they're ready to put their simmer pot together. I am adding on the tag here with some red and white twine that I picked up at Michael's as well. Again, this was not on sale. This was found in their party section. And I will say it was pretty pricey. The twine was around $7.50, which I thought was kind of expensive. If you are a teacher or educator, you do get a discount, a 15% discount at Michael's. So keep that in mind if you're shopping there for things that aren't on sale. However, I just liked the way that this twine looked. I could use ribbon, which I did end up adding a little bit of the pom-pom ribbon that I showed from my Christmas cookie exchange video. And, you know, that was an option. However, I did want this little bit of twine. Plus, it looks really nice when you are wrapping Christmas gifts as well. So the twine will get plenty of use. So I'm just tying this on. I did wrap it around a little bit. I did put a little bow, and then I'm just cutting off the excess. And I think this looks really, really sweet. You could leave it just like this. You could add another piece of ribbon if you wanted to. You could even add, you know, just the ribbon that you curl with the scissors if you wanted, if you didn't want to use twine. However, for mine, I did have some leftover of this pom-pom ribbon that I picked up at Michael's. So I'm just going to tie one little piece on here just to give it a little something extra. And I love this little pom-pom ribbon. I think it's so sweet and adds a really pretty touch. Once my oranges were done drying in the oven and I'd let them cool, it was time to assemble the rest of our bags. I did half of the bags with unsliced oranges, and the other half I did with the sliced dried oranges, and both look absolutely beautiful. And like I said, they smelled absolutely fantastic. So again, to make these bags, I did the exact same thing. Started with a couple of handfuls of cranberries. These are fresh cranberries, 2 to 3 cinnamon sticks, couple of sprigs of rosemary, and then that pile there of oranges. I did put roughly 7 to 8 orange slices in each bag. I then wrapped them up, put the tag as well as the twine and the pom-pom ribbon, and they were good to go. Had a nice little assembly line. I cut a bunch of the ribbon at once, so you didn't see it here on camera. However, I did make about 22 of these bags. That was for my neighbors as well as some coworkers. I made one for my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, so that way they could have it in their home as well. And I just love the way these turned out. And that brings us to the end of this video, my friends. If you found these adorable little simmer pot gifts to be motivating or something that you're interested in making, I would love to see how yours turn out. If you do make them, tag me on Instagram at Charlotte Grove Farmhouse. I would love to see how yours come out. And I hope that you guys have a lovely and beautiful holiday. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, my friends.